A servant is in one of four states. There's no fifth. He says they're either in a state of blessing, tribulation, obedience, or disobedience. One of these four. There's no fifth, let alone anything else. He says, and if you're in a state of blessing, what you should do is to be grateful. And if you're in a state of tribulation, what you should do is be patient. And if you're in a state of obedience, what you should do is that be in a state of shuhud al-minnah, that you see that as a blessing from Allah upon you, that you don't deserve. And if you're in a state of disobedience, then what you should do is repent. Every tribulation we're afflicted with could be for one of three reasons. It's either a punishment, it's an atonement, or it's a means for us to ascend in degrees of closeness to Allah. Usually we don't ever really know which of the three it is. What is most important is the way that we respond to the tribulation, and that actually is the greatest indicating factor of which of the three it was. And Imam al-Sha'rani says that if you find yourself patient, it's a sign that it was an atonement. If you find yourself in a state of panic and displeased, it's a sign that it was a punishment. And if you find yourself that content, it's a sign that it's a means to raise you in rank. Either way, even if it's a punishment, it's still a manifestation of Allah's mercy. Why? Because you took it here. Took it here. Now, hopefully we'll wake up and get ourselves together so that it doesn't have to happen again. But even if it was a punishment, it's still a mercy. And Allah Ta'ala is giving us a chance to rectify ourselves. You and I need tarbiyah. Part of the reason the world is in the state that it's in, well, it is simply because of the nafs. The nafs is what wreaks havoc. All of the problems in the world stem from the nafs of an individual, the nafs that is commanding to evil. And if you don't put yourself in a position where you receive tarbiyah, where you go through a path of spiritual purification at the hands of a teacher, you're likely to join in that wreaking of havoc that is taking place in the world. This is why the world is such a mess. When you do this and you go through a process of tarbiyah, nothing is more potent and nothing leads to the benefit of people more than that. That being a person of the sacred law and being a person who travels the spiritual path and putting your knowledge into practice. Joining between the outward and in the inward. This is what we want. We want to have a balance between knowledge, devotion, and then spend our lives in service. And all three of these that go together, they're the ladders of ascension, of wanting to draw near to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to have a portion of knowledge, in particular, most importantly, sacred knowledge, and constantly learn until the day that we die. We have to have devotion, suluk, where we are actively traveling the spiritual path, trying to purify our heart from all of the various vices and the destructive tendencies and diseases that will derail us. And then we have to be in service of creation in whatever capacity, and to spend our lives giving da'wah, not forgetting that one of the most important parts of da'wah is weeping for the sake of the ummah in the wee hours of the night. And everybody can have a portion in that, i.e. in service and in da'wah, and this is why we have to have a broad understanding of what it really is.